What's up, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Quarantine Kitchen. I'm your host, Jeremy Griffin. Today we're going to be doing steakhouse favorites. A couple of ingredients you're going to need: steak, any cut, russet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, bacon. You get some butter, heavy cream, garlic, and then get your basic herbs, whatever you'd like. All right, let's get started, guys. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do with my potatoes all gratin dish first prep, I'm gonna go ahead and take the potatoes and I'm gonna go ahead and wash them under water. Potatoes curl into the ground, so normally they're pretty dirty when they're pulled up. So just go ahead and make sure you're washing your potatoes before you peel them. And that'll be my next step, actually, is gonna peel all the potatoes. Go ahead down to my prep station area and move the potatoes so I can go ahead and peel them over there near a trash can. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm peeling the potatoes. I like to do long fluid strokes on the potato. That way you don't get too much of the potato when you peel it. You don't want to peel all your potato off and throw it away. So don't do this fast if you're not comfortable with it. You can definitely cut yourself on this, shave a piece of your skin off your finger, so be careful at home. Be mindful that this is a blade, even if it doesn't look like a knife. Potatoes au gratin, really, it's a couple of simple ingredients, and you bake it in the oven. The oven really does most of the work for you. It's good, it's filling. Yeah, this is a dish that definitely reminds you of family gatherings. It's almost like a Thanksgiving type meal. Filling. You can definitely go sit on the couch and take a nap after you eat this for sure. So if you tuned into last week's episode of Quarantine Kitchen, I actually touched a little bit on knife skills. So just when you're using a knife, keep those basic skills that I talked about. Comfortable hands, comfortable grip on the knife. Don't go too fast if you're not comfortable. Make sure you're keeping your fingers away from the blade. Use the 3-finger technique, and you can go ahead and use your finger as a guiding line. And look at that. And for this particular dish, you're gonna want to cut these potatoes really thin because they'll be baked. You're gonna go ahead, you're gonna stack them actually, and you want these potatoes to cook through as evenly as possible. The only way to do that is if you cut them around the same shape and size so that they cook more evenly throughout. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm gonna go ahead and mince up some garlic. I already have some cloves that I had pulled apart. But you just peel back this layer like you would an onion, and then you get your cloves out of it just like that. So grab a couple cloves out of there. Sometimes if you just, if you have a nice mason jar, you can throw the whole clove or just these cloves into the mason jar, put the lid on it and shake it up, and they'll crack right out of their casings. Makes for easy peeling if you don't feel like doing this by hand like I'm gonna do. All right, so what I'm actually gonna go ahead and take a couple of these cloves, some of the bigger ones, and I'm gonna set them to the side and not mince them up. I'm actually gonna end up adding them to the pan later. Just be aware that that garlic is very sticky whenever you start to grab it out of the case. So this little shell will stick to your fingers. It's really kind of a pain, but just work around it. It'll be fine. Some pieces come off really easy, and some pieces like to stick a lot. So when you're at home, just you go run your hand under some water real quick, it'll come off just fine. All right, so we're gonna start building our potatoes au gratin. It's really simple. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and you'll start layering the bottom of your pan. I chose a nice like Pyrex glass pan, but if you have different types of pans at home, as long as it's oven safe, it should be fine. So I'll go ahead and layer this bottom area and get a nice even layer over it. Try and maybe use some of the smaller potatoes that you have to fill in some of the holes that you see. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna pour it in here, and I'm gonna actually add some melted butter to that, and some garlic. And this is gonna be kind of your mixture that's gonna create that creaminess in the potato dish. So I'll whisk that together. And then I'll throw a little bit of garlic in there. A little bit, a lot of it. Go ahead and give that a whisk. And I'll just use it to put a thin layer over the bottom. You can move it around if you want, kind of get that spread evenly. And I'll hit every layer with a little salt and pepper as well. I like fresh cracked black pepper. I think it tastes better. It gives it more of a spice. I'll take a little bit of my thyme and put it over that layer, and then each layer is gonna get a little bit of cheese as well. And over here I got just a cheddar and mozzarella mix that I just mixed together. I like both of the cheeses. I think they have a good flavor. So that's gonna be your building process. So now I'm gonna just go ahead and continue this process until it's ready to go in the oven, and I've used up all my potatoes. You know, if you got kids at home, this is something you could have them do, you know, to help you with dinner if you know, you need some helping hands with you. Just something really easy that they can do, you know, and have fun with it. All right, now I'm gonna hit that again with our heavy cream. Move that around a bit. Then hit it again with a little salt and pepper. Get some of our thyme here. I don't know if you noticed I used thyme in the last video, but it's just it's an herb that I really like. I think it's got a nice fragrant smell to it and a good flavor. All right. So what I'm gonna do now, go ahead and get a piece of foil, put that over the top before I put it in the oven. Make sure that's nice and tight. And we're gonna go ahead and put this in the oven at 350 for about an hour. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and take my Brussels sprouts and I'm gonna go hit them in the sink real quick, wash them off. You know, they can be pretty dirty when you buy them from the supermarkets, so just make sure you wash off your produce and everything. So you can even actually, this is just like a cabbage in a way, little mini cabbage. So if some of the leaves are a little dirty, like on that top, you can literally just peel it off and it'll be fine. Because some of them are definitely don't look appetizing. All right. All right, so with these Brussels sprouts, it's pretty simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and cut the root off the end, and then I'm gonna go ahead and halve it. Depending on the size of the Brussels sprout, you know, you can quarter them if you want, but just know that after you cut the root off of it and halved it, it's gonna tend to fall apart the more you move it in the pan. And what we're gonna be doing with these is just pan frying them in bacon fat and bacon bits. Pretty classic Brussels sprout side dish. Definitely goes well with steak and potatoes. So at home, this is something relatively cheap that you can go ahead and cook. You know, and it'll fill up your family. I'll go ahead and I'll take the Brussels sprouts and I'll put them in a bowl. And what I'm gonna do now is just really season them, toss them in a little bit of oil. Just do a little bit of oil over them. And then I'll hit them with some salt and pepper. And I'll use some of my minced garlic as well. That's it. Now I have to go ahead and dice the bacon. That way I can put the bacon in the pan and get that working. And then after I get it a little crispy, I'll go ahead and I'll add my Brussels sprouts to the pan. But just know that when you're working with this bacon, this isn't very cold. It's been sitting out a little while. It'll start to get slimy because it is a fatty protein. So just know that when you start to cut it, it's gonna slide. Be very careful with the knife when you're cutting bacon. A sharp knife is going to be your best bet while you're cutting bacon. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm going to go ahead and take the bacon that I've just diced up, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to the top pan over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it right here into the pan. And right now I'm just moving the bacon around. So I'll sit here and give it a few and I'll just let that go ahead and crisp up. Like I said, medium high heat. Just make sure you're not doing it too hot. You'll burn that bacon up, and really it'll just give you a burnt flavor to your Brussels sprouts. So now that I got that bacon rendered down a little bit more, I'm gonna go ahead and just add the Brussels sprouts directly to the pan. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a toss here in a second. So just go ahead and toss that up and get it all mixed together. What I like to do is I like to use this spatula and I like to flatten these out, kind of get a nice flat surface. That way these Brussels sprouts can get nice and crisp in this bacon fat. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna go ahead and take these steaks and just give them a quick little rinse off. I don't know, it's just kind of a rule of thumb. I usually rinse off the steaks and whatever meat I'm using before I use it. These in particular are ribeyes. And always, whenever you're, rinsing some kind of protein off in the sink, always make sure it's with cold water, not hot water. It's just, hot water in some way or another is gonna start cooking whatever meat you're using. So try to do some cold water when you're rinsing them off. All right, so what I got for you here is 6 steaks. 4 of them are New York strips, and I got 2 ribeyes here. The difference for me pretty much is the amount of fat in the steak, and obviously the part of the cow that it comes from. But the New York strip it's a little leaner than the ribeye. The ribeye has a lot more fat to it, and some people like that because that fat gives the steak flavor. But really, they're both kind of your prime cuts of meat that you would get at a steakhouse. And what I'm gonna do here, I've already dried them off. They're at about room temperature, which honestly is kind of the best temperature to cook like a steak, because you're not gonna overcook it before the outside is crispy. So what I'm gonna do basically is just, I'm gonna just do simple salt and pepper. I like a nice cracked black pepper on it. I think it gives a nice crust to the steak. And be liberal with the amount of seasoning and salt that you put on your steak. It's not gonna hurt it. If anything, when you put it in the pan, it's gonna give it a real nice crust over the top of it. We're gonna go ahead and just season the other side. Same thing, a little bit of salt and pepper. And we'll let these sit for a minute before we start cooking. Got about 10 more minutes left on our potato dish. And then we're gonna go ahead and cheese that some more. And then we're gonna go ahead and add that to the oven, get a nice crust on the potatoes au gratin dish. And while that's back in, we'll go ahead and start our steaks. So now that I've gone ahead and I've put that layer of cheese back on top, I'm gonna add it back to the oven for about 10 minutes on 350 still. I just want to get that cheese nice and crusted over the top of the potato. All right, so what I got here, y'all, is actually my cast iron skillet. So these if you're working at home, make sure you have an oven pad or a dry towel. If you're touching this handle, the whole thing is metal. This handle's gonna be really hot. So I've added some canola oil to it, and I've gone ahead and I've moved that around. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna grab my steak, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the pan. So we're gonna do the test, and that's really hot. So that's what you want to hear before you put your steak down. That way you get that really nice crust on it. And you want to lay it away from you. Otherwise you might, if you drop it, you might get hit with oil. Alright guys, so since we're doing steaks 2 different ways today, I'm gonna show you how to cook the steak on the grill as well. It'll give you a different flavor profile than if you were to cook it in the pan. Some people like that char flavor that you get from the grill. So what I'm gonna start off with doing is just hit the grill with a little bit of oil. That way the steaks don't stick too bad. We can go ahead and get some nice grill marks on our steaks. So the grill right now is running about 500, 550. So we'll go ahead and put our steak down up top. And what I did here is I put these down at a 45-degree angle. Now why you do that is because when you turn it, you're going to be able to get really nice diamond grill marks on your steak. So you put it at a 45-degree angle, and then later on here in a few minutes, I'll go ahead and I'll move them over, and that'll create that diamond effect with the grill marks. Some pretty decent grill marks. On these 3 here, I'm gonna go ahead, and what you'll do is you'll just do them the other way, just like that. Switch them over. Thanks everyone for joining us for this week's episode of Quarantine Kitchen. We did our steakhouse favorites, steak 2 ways, did a pan-seared steak, and we did a char-broiled steak. Join us next week when we're gonna have a mystery dish. Have a good one. Thank you.